I've seen online on YouTube 1,000 videos of people making chicken coops and rabbit pens and gardens and everything else. So you know what? Why not make another one? Just what everybody needs, right? But you know what? I want to do this one maybe a little different than some of the ones I've seen. A lot of the people were already experienced at this, and some people weren't. But you know, I want to do one basically just kind of just started from scratch. I mean, we moved up to Tennessee to get away from, you know, all the craziness in Florida. And honestly, right now with all this pandemic stuff going on, this just makes perfect sense, you know. And we're not bandwagon jumpers, you know, and we're not just another prepper video or anything like that, or another homesteading video. There's a bunch of those out there, and those people are great, and I watch them and I love it. I just don't want to be another one, you know. But if there is a bandwagon to jump on, this is it, because you know, this is pretty serious times. And you know, I never thought that I'd see the day where I go to the grocery store and half of the meat section is gone, you know, and you try to get 4 ribeyes and it's 50 bucks for ribeyes that aren't even looking that nice, you know. So this has always been a dream of ours anyways. We moved up here about 1.5 years ago. We got 8 acres up in the woods, and we're just going to kind of give you a little quick tour today and let you see what we got going on here. This is a shed that we just put in, basically to store our stuff in. It's where we got our new baby chicks. They're in there. These are meat chickens, and we just got them today. Actually, just got them this morning, so I got a little more work to do in there today to get them ready to go. But we started out with 10 egg-laying chickens. Hopefully, you know, we was hoping for 8 of them, 7 of them to survive. I watched all these videos about, you know, you're gonna lose 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. Some people don't lose any. You know, it's all over the place with it. And honestly, I think it's all specific to the chickens, how you got them, where you're at, whether it's cold, it's hot. I mean, there's so many variables that come along with it. But so far, we've had great luck with them. We got them in a chicken coop right down here, as you can see. And pardon my sniffing. No, I don't have coronavirus. Just as you can see, all the trees are budding out here, and the pollen count is just ridiculous, and I have allergies. So but we're self-quarantining anyway, so what else better to do than get your chicken run going. So that was one we just bought online. Bought it at Tractor Supply. It was on sale, I think, for $2.40 or something like that. And then I just made a quick little chicken run here. This is our beginning one. We didn't really know what we're doing, but you know, you got to start somewhere. You know, you can't just talk about it and then never take the chance. So I'm going to build another chicken run right here, as you can see. That's where we're going to start. We're going to go from there. But we bought this one, put it together in about an hour, and it's nice. It was for 4 to 6 chickens. And like I said, we were expecting, after all the horror stories you see online, to lose a couple, but actually all 10 have survived, and they're actually doing very well. So I'm gonna have to do something a little different with that, make it a little bigger for them. Right now I just made something kind of temporary just to get it going. Like I said, I wasn't expecting all of them to survive, but you know what, they're doing well. And we just ordered 25 chickens today, or the other day. Got them today, and we've got one that is not doing so well, but he seems to be maybe coming out of it. So we're going to build the chicken coop for the meat chickens. We got 25 of them, and that's what you're going to see today. Okay, so these are our baby chicks that we got from McMurray Hatchery. They arrived about 4 days ago, and as you can see, they're doing really well. We did lose 2 of them. Unfortunately, one died the day we got it. Got the package from the post office, and then one died the next day. So from what I understand, from my research, that's fairly typical, I guess. You know, I know we're going to eat them, and they're meat chickens, but it's still, you know, it's not cool to lose a baby chick like that, you know. So right now my wife is currently wiping their backsides off. As most of you probably already know, but if some of you don't, that some of them, they get a little buildup on the backside, and they got to get that out of there so they can continue to go, or it's really bad for them. So that's what she's doing right now. And as you can see, yes, using warm water. As you can see, they're doing really well, and we're pretty happy with them. So we're going to keep cleaning them up today, keeping an eye on them, and in about 3 weeks we'll be moving them to the new pen, which is what I'm working on. And I'm going to be having some of that here in the video as well. So if not, maybe another video specifically on how I built my chicken coop. Okay, so we're about 5 days in, 4 or 5 days with the chicks. We got them from McMurray Hatchery, like I was just saying. And there they are. And as you can see, just from the other day, they've already gotten a lot bigger. They are meat chickens, so they said they are going to grow very fast. And they are definitely doing that. So I'm glad that I got started on the other coop, which is right there. So let's just go down and talk about that a little more. I said I was going to talk a little bit more about it. This is the one that we got first. It's the one we got from Tractor Supply. And these are hens that are now about they're 8 weeks now. And doing really well, as you can see. And they're going to town on something down there, which is really good for them. And this is the run that I built, added on just out of basically some 2x6s, some 2x4s, and got me some chicken wire, and I had a piece of 4x8 plywood sitting around. I got to put something over that plywood though, because that's not treated and that's not going to last very long. So it's one thing I got to do. And this is the coop that we actually bought from Tractor Supply. And we got it on sale, and it's worked out really well. I'm pretty happy with it. And there's my dog up there throwing a fit because he's not out here, but I'm pretty happy with it. You know, it's not huge. It's supposed to be for 4 to 6 chickens, and like I said, we usually saw on all the videos that you're going to lose a couple 3, so we expected to end up with maybe 6 or 7 at the most, but we ended up saving all 10, so that's really good. I'm really happy with that. It was really windy the other day, and I haven't attached this to the ground yet. It's just kind of screwed to this, which I didn't think anything was going to happen, but I just threw a bag of that garden soil that I got on top of it. So this is just it. I mean, nothing super fancy. This was a kit that I put together in about an hour. And this is, like I said, nothing super fancy. Just 2x6s, chicken wire, a couple 2x4s. It's not even really super level. You know, because like I said, it's a chicken coop. It's not a Rolex, and it ain't the space shuttle. So this is the one I built for our meat chickens. Like I said, we got 25. We're probably going to have 50 at a certain point if we work out with the 25. You know, we're new to this, so we don't want to jump in too heavy. But basically, this is, you know, 8 4x8 sheets of plywood. I use 4x4 posts on the actual coop itself. I use 2x4s on the run and 4x4s on the end post. Those I just tamped down some ground and put a couple patio blocks there for each one of those. For the post here, I got some solar tubes in there. I just got to pour the concrete in. I haven't done it yet, so they got a little bit wet. But basically, that's all I got to do. Now, this is where me and a lot of guys differ. They would have poured the concrete, set the post, let the post dry in the concrete. You know, I've seen guys really struggle to get that level and get it square, and the next thing you know, you're using, you know, shorter 2x4s on one side because when the concrete dried, it drew to one side or the other. You know, I get all that, but man, I just thought it was going to be a lot easier. Like I said, it's a chicken coop. You know, it's not my house, it's not a deck. But I wanted to be able to adjust it as I went because I am on this hill. I'll walk down here so you can kind of see how much of an angle it is. So I wanted to be able to have that adjustment at the end if I needed to jack one side up or not. So, but there it is. You know, that's the hill that it's on. And this is a clean out door that I made. Let's see, the latch works because it's latched. And right now I got all my tools and stuff in there. I haven't finished it inside here, but I'm gonna put some roost in there for them. I don't need to have laying boxes in this because this is for our meat chickens. So basically I just need a place for them to get in and get out of the nasty weather. Well, like I said, I decided to build it, square it all up, and then I can pour the concrete when I'm done because it's really not that heavy. I don't see it really moving too much, you know. And that's all the weight it's ever going to have other than the weight of 50 chickens at most. So I didn't get real complicated with it. You know, I'm just going to cover it with some chicken wire. These are 36 inches apart, these 3. So literally I got 36-inch wide chicken wire. This here, I ended up making it a little taller. So I'm going to have to add another piece here just to connect the chicken wire to. But I could just tie the wire together if I really wanted to. But The roof there, you know, that's one miscalculation I made trying to put this thing up in a hurry. I bought 8-foot roof sheets, and I literally just made this 8x8, and I did not allow enough for an overhang on the roof. So I had a little bit of a leak on one side, so I just decided to foam every bit of it I could, avoid any leaks later. I'm going to go back and just trim that off and then put a trim board around it. Nobody will ever see. I'm probably going to put a gutter around it too to trap rainwater. That way it's easier to feed them. You know, it's a little bit more eco-friendly. I'm not using well water to do it, so, but that's basically it. Like I said, nothing super fancy, you know. It is all level, it is square. I do have a pitch on the roof so the water will run off. It's just a little over an inch. It's hard to see it on this angle, but it does run off the front here where that ladder is. So, and all I got to do is just cut the hole for the ramp going in, cut some vents, and maybe another access point on one side, and that's it. That's really all I got to do to it. Cover it with the chicken wire. I got to dig the trench to bury the wire, because we do, as you can see, live out here in the mountains of Tennessee, and we do have a lot of predators around here. We have a very large bear that lives in the vicinity, so kind of worry about him. But you know, we have a lot of deer go across this property. We have a lot of chickens, or not chickens, but turkey, and I haven't really seen any traces of that big bear except one big old pile of poo out there in the driveway way down the lane there. That our neighbor way down the road said that there is a family of bears that lives in this area, and one of them is a big male. But other than that, I'm more worried about raccoons and foxes and bobcats. So, you know, that's why I decided just to make it a little bit more sturdy, you know, but I didn't want to get super fancy with it. Because like I said, it's just a chicken coop, and you can spend a lot of money on this if you wanted to. Just the price of lumber was pretty expensive. I think the lumber cost, the total cost for this coop is about, I think I spent about $600 on it, $650 with all the materials and everything. That, you know, I went back and got a couple cans of foam, and you know, I got treated lumber. I got the little bit better 2x4s than I did, you know, instead of just buying the cheap ones. And you know, that's really about all there is to it. You know, it doesn't have to be super fancy, but it does have to protect them, and it does have to have enough room for them. So you got about, this ends up being a 19 by 8 foot run with an 8 by 8 by 4 coop on the inside. So I think that's going to be plenty enough room. You know, I think the run's definitely big enough. I'm a little concerned about the top of it being big enough, you know, for 50 chickens. But like I said, I've seen lots of videos where they cram these chickens into small things, and I'm new to this, so maybe that's all the chicken needs. You know, I like them to have a little bit more room. These right here, I wish they had more room, but they seem to be doing fine. You know, they're kind of just doing their thing. Seem to be really happy, don't have any problems with them, and they seem to be very healthy. And so we're just going to try to do this with the meat chickens and just keep it going. You know, tired of eating that nasty stuff from the store. And, you know, went to the store the other day, and all the chicken was gone except for some chicken legs. You know, the undesirable, I guess, the least bought chicken parts, I guess, was still there. But chicken breast, chicken tenderloins, anything fresh or just recently wrapped by the butcher was, no, it was all gone. It's all empty. So, you know, we wanted to do this for a long time. It's always been a dream of ours to, I've always wanted to move to Wyoming or Montana, but that just wasn't feasible for us. And Tennessee was also just as good. So we all decided to choose Tennessee, moved up from Florida. And, you know, by God's grace, I think we did it just in time. Because with this pandemic stuff going on, you know, who knows when you're going to be able to get food, when you're not. And honestly, I want to be able to eat food that I know where it came from. You know, I know where those chickens came from. I know where these are coming from. I know where they've been eaten. I know how they were processed or how they're going to be processed. And, you know, I just would rather live and eat that way. I think that's a more healthy way to live. So, but guys, that's how you build a, whatever you want to say, 11 by 19 chicken run with a 8x8 coop. It's nothing fancy. It's just squared up, and as you can see here, literally I just put the 4x4 right on the outside and just wrap the drywall the plywood right around it, put a nice floor in it, put some bracing in there for the floor, did the same thing to the roof,
And boom, done. You got it. Made sure everything's squared up, and I can go back in, pull my concrete. I know I'm going to catch all kinds of probably bad comments in the comment section by not pouring the concrete first, but these posts are square and they're level now, and now I can pour the concrete around it. So if it was anything more major, I might have done it a little different way, but right now for a chicken coop, I'd say that's plenty darn good. And then basically, one of the things that if you want it to look nice, I stair step these down just to make it look nice and somewhat square instead of just having them, you know, at an angle with a big gap. I got to fill in a bunch of dirt. I got to dig enough, you know, dirt just to get the chicken wire around it. So tried to limit the digging to a minimum, but that's it. You know, it's just simple carpentry. I try to make everything flat because I'm just basically going to wrap the chicken wire around, and I didn't want to have to wrap it and tuck it back up in anything. You don't have to do that here, obviously, but all the way down here, I just didn't want to notch that 4x4 there. So try to make everything as simple as possible. You know, you get 1 2x4, it's got a little bit of a bow because I left it laying out and it got rained on, but it's a chicken coop. You know, it's not anything super special. So that's what it is. Pretty simple. Took me about really 2.5 days to get to this point, but I only worked on it about 4 or 5 hours a day, you know, and I had other stuff I needed to get done, but you could probably finish it in 2 days if you really wanted to hustle with 2 people doing it, you know. But all I got to do, like I said, is cover it with the wire, put some siding on it, cut a couple holes, and I'm good to go. So there you have it. Chicken coop, bare minimum. I did spend a little bit of extra money on it to make sure I had stuff that was going to last a little bit, but nothing super fancy. That's how you do it.